Before we get started, everybody, for those of you who may have missed my EA College Football 26 Dynasty video from a couple of days ago, at the end of the episode, I shared the mini questionnaire that I have in terms of what I'm going to do for the Dynasty on EA College Football 26. Since I'm simulating into the future, we don't know what the rosters are going to look like until I get the game. So because of that, I can't really have a simple vote on the YouTube community tab. So this is what I've decided to do instead. This will be the only and official vote for the College Football 26 series. So if you want to make your voice heard, make sure to click the Google form link in the description. It's not too long. I think there's only 7 or 8 questions. And they will help decide me what the plan is for College Football 26. All right, let's get into the video. Run it back. The Kansas Jayhawks looking for revenge against the only team who beat them this year, the Arkansas Razorbacks, who defeated us just a couple of weeks ago. We've got our chance for revenge here in the Big 12 title game with an opportunity to clinch a playoff spot for good, win our first conference title of the series, and likely clinch a first-round bye in the college football playoff, which could end up giving us a major advantage in our pursuit to finally winning a national championship. Despite the fact that we're in a good spot, 11-1, number 6 in the conference championship, we were hoping for the undefeated season. We lost out on that opportunity in the last episode, dropping us currently to the number 8 seed, where we would play North Carolina in the first round, and with a win, take on the only unbeaten team left, the Michigan Wolverines, who have, of course, beaten us in the playoff twice. We lost to Arkansas at their place 27-14, without a doubt our worst offensive performance of the year, and the defense really was not much better. Malik Page went 18 of 18. He did not miss a throw. He was efficient through the air, dynamic on the ground, and severely outplayed Kerry Chosen, who had his worst passing game as a Jayhawk. He had his best rushing game, however. Other than Santiago Herrera, who had 5 TFLs and 14 snaps, the defense did not show up. It was a slow-paced game where Arkansas scored pretty much every time they got the ball. We needed to take care of business in our following game against UCF. Knowing that we can make the conference title with a win, especially coming off a loss, we were extra motivated and hungry to come out on top, which we did. Kerry Chosen looked a lot more like himself. Cornell Teamer with a career high in touches, ran for nearly 130 yards, and the defense was a lot better, including 3 interceptions for Javier Callaway, Quantavius Landers, and Brandon Hines. So now the only games separating us from the reveal of the 12-team college football playoff bracket is the conference titles. We've been trying to get back to the Big 12 title ever since our collapse in Season 1 against Utah. If you remember, we were supposed to win that game, but we were unable to convert a 4th and inches QB sneak with a minute left to clinch it. Utah marches down the field. They end up winning the game, and we have not made it back to the Big 12 title since, despite making the playoff in back-to-back years. I think this team has what it takes, though. I think these guys are ready for the big moment because much of this core has already played in the playoff. They know how to perform in big games. Cornell Teamer, his final opportunity to potentially win the Heisman Trophy. He has tied Devin Neal's single-season rushing touchdowns record. Amani Law's last game injured. I think Rajon Jones has done great in his absence. Elijah Parrish as well. And then, assuming we make the playoff, we are expected to have Amani Law back. The defense, the best in the Big 12 this year, despite a rough showing in the loss against Arkansas a couple of weeks ago. The Big 12 has been very clearly a 3-horse race all season, with us, Arkansas, and TCU. But Arkansas beat us, we beat TCU, and TCU did not get to play Arkansas. The number 2 scoring offense and the number 1 scoring defense in the conference. We've been consistent and as solid as it gets throughout the year for the most part. As for the other conference titles, I think the Big 10 game likely decides the number 1 seed between Michigan and Michigan State, a rematch from an earlier matchup won by the Wolverines. From there, the 2 seed will be either the winner of the Big 12 game or the winner of the SEC game between North Carolina and Kentucky, and then the other game would get the 3 seed. From there, we look at number 4, Stanford, Southern Miss. Those are the first 2 teams in line for playoff spots. If not them, I think you look at either Miami of Ohio or the winner of Louisiana Tech and Western Kentucky. If all hell breaks loose, maybe SMU has a shot to be the 5th conference title team if they beat Stanford and a lot of other things go their way, I'm pulling for chaos. I would love to see Sean Pullard in the playoff. Let's look at this Arkansas team. We're obviously pretty familiar with them. We just played against them in the last episode. What I find interesting, though, is after they beat us, they lost their last game of the year to Missouri, 45-28. I don't think this bodes well for us for a number of reasons. For one thing, we never want to see Missouri winning, of course. That's the most important thing. They are one of our rivals. But also, this gives Arkansas a little bit more motivation to play well, because had they beaten Missouri at 11-1, they are a lock to make the playoff. Now, not so much. If they lose this game, they could be in a little trouble. Deo Chioma threw for 5 touchdowns in the win against Arkansas. That's the same Missouri team who lost 49-3 against us earlier in the year. We know how good Malik Page is. As I described him in the last episode, he's essentially Clyde Poole, but on steroids. Dynamic runner, excellent arm talent, and we saw the accuracy and efficiency. He's been ultra efficient all year, but especially against us, where he went 18 of 18, which is absolutely ridiculous. Their lead running back, Braylon Russell, did not play against us in the earlier season matchup, and he will not play today. He is still out. So it'll be Craig Avery and Emmett Powell once again. We know how deep this receiving room is. Connor Durbin, Tyler Wiley, the former Kansas Jayhawk Sheldon Brink, and Brenson Bromero at tight end. They have one of the top cornerback duos in the country with Tevis Metcalf and Selman Bridges, the latter of whom had a big interception at the end of the first half against us, and a talented pass rush led by senior edge rusher Juju Pope, who had a big strip sack in the red zone in the fourth quarter to help Arkansas get the win earlier this year. We'll see if we can do something that's not easy. So face off against a team who we just played against a few weeks ago and lost to. Remember, Arkansas beat us last year as well, and that's when Arkansas wasn't even that good. I think they barely walked into a bowl game. Our offense just does not have it against these guys. 2 years in a row, we've scored a combined total of 24 points within the 2 matchups. So obviously it goes without saying the offense has got to be better. Our worst offensive performances of the last 2 seasons were both games against Arkansas. We've seen a lot of these guys in big games, but we have not seen Kerry Chosen past the regular season yet, so I'm fascinated to see how the redshirt sophomore quarterback will look as he's joined by Ty Lord to get us started. Lord gets a good block from Benji Trahan and starts the evening with a gain of around 10. As good as Cornell Teamer has been, this backfield is not as successful as it is without Ty Lord. As Teamer gets it on second down, he pushes forward up the middle to around the 45. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, his last chance to prove to the Heisman voters why he deserves to win. Chosen's first pass is caught or not? Was that not clearly in his hands in a football move? I feel like that was a catch and a fumble. I'm not complaining, but still odd. 3rd and 3. Chosen on the run. It is broken up. Looking for Rasheem Diggs, and we're going to go for it. Let's get gutsy here on 4th and 3. Teamer with the handoff. He does not get it. Arkansas with the stop. And the Hogs hold Kansas off the board. That feels eerily familiar to the 4th down play that lost us the game in the Big 12 title back in season 1. Arkansas with it for the first time today as on second down it's play action. Wide open, it's Benson Bromero into the red zone. He gets around 40. That was a busted coverage from the redshirt senior Jalen Todd, the only player on the team who was here for the season 1 Big 12 title. 3rd and goal, Page on the run, incomplete. Monu Okeji jars it out. Finally, we force an incompletion off this guy. We finally did it. That'll bring out the field goal unit. It's a 23-yarder for Akeem Colombaye to put Arkansas on the board. It's blocked! Viliami Manupuna jumps the snap and holds the Hogs off the board. What a play by the redshirt junior who has been so clutch throughout the year. He's not a starter per se, but has played a big role with his 5 interceptions and now the block kick. Kansas back with it, 3rd and 5. Teamer is just short again on the reception. Tyrese Fleming, one of the most important players on the Arkansas defense, hurt on the play, but the Razorbacks do force a 3 and out. They will get it back on offense. With just under 4 to go in the first. Page up the middle. He's got Durbin. Into the red zone. Landers is able to catch him, make sure he's not in the end zone. But Arkansas gets it to the 20. Looking to avenge their previous drive in the red zone as Tyler Wiley brings it inside the 10. 3rd and goal now at the 1 for the Hogs. Page gives it to Avery. Breaks the tackle. Tries to dive in. He is short! Kansas with the stop. 4th and goal. Arkansas goes 4 wide, and we've got to call time. Try to get a better defensive alignment in there. Risky decision to call the timeout as they'll go back to Avery, and he is short! Santiago Herrera, who dominated against Arkansas a few weeks ago, brings him down along with Greg Von Oelhoffen. 2 trips inside the 5, 0 points for Arkansas. Here's Teamer. He'll get us out of safety territory with a good run of around 12. Now it's a 3rd down for Kansas. Not much going for us on offense today. No one's open, and Chosen is sacked back inside the 5. Juju Pope, Alex Murphy, and Justin Logan bring him down. Another 3 and out for the Kansas offense, and our struggles on that side of the ball have carried over from the loss against Arkansas a couple weeks ago and even the loss against them last year. Scoreless through 1, both teams have had a lot of issues so far in very different ways. We're not moving the ball. They are moving the ball, but they are unable to score in the red zone. It looks like a blitz. Page fumbles the ball, and it's picked up by the defense. Devin Murphy recovers the strip sack from Mo Nuokeji. The junior linebacker comes in off the blitz. Page does not see it coming. Nuokeji's been all over the field today. He was the one who with the deflection in the end zone on 3rd down prior to the blocked field goal, which that play ended up being a 7-point swing. Now he forces a turnover. He gets Kansas past the 50. We finally have good field position. We'll see if the offense can do something. Not a bad start. Teamer to the outside gets nearly 20. Teamer's only gotten the ball 4 times. We've got to find more ways to give our best player the rock. On 3rd and 7, Chosen's pass is caught. Nice grab inside the 10. The true freshman Elijah Parrish. Chosen just 5 of 10, 38 yards. He has not been great so far. Page, meanwhile, 6 of 7. 3rd and goal. Chosen looks short, and Teamer drops it. Might be for the better, because now we're going to have the kick centered. 23-yard try for Anthony Escalante. Arkansas missed a 23-yarder earlier with the block by Manu Puna. The kick from Escalante on the way. It is good, and Kansas is on the board first. Finally, some points. Very anti-Big 12 to have our first scoring almost halfway through the 2nd quarter. But that's how this game has gone. Escalante puts us ahead 3-0. Would have been nice to punch it in, but at least we scored, given that both teams have had trouble putting points on the board. Page's pass is broken up. Leon Ibrahim with the deflection, and Arkansas has to punt it away. That's their first punt, despite the fact that they had 3 other drives without scoring. Blocked field goal, turnover on downs, and then just the regular turnover. Parrish on 3rd and 2 is going the wrong way, trying to get something out of nothing, and it just turns into an even worse play as he loses 6. 2nd and 1 for Arkansas. Emmett Powell loses a couple. He's wrapped up by a pair of freshmen, Leon Ibrahim and Cornell Abreu. On 3rd down, up the middle, going nowhere. Another stop for the Kansas defense. Arkansas had 27 points in their 5 drives last week. Today, 5 drives, 0 points. Teamer breaks a tackle up the middle, gets the 1st down. This game has been so much faster paced than the game a few weeks ago because many of these drives are short and quick, 3 and outs. On 1st down, it's Ty Lord with it to the right side. Gets a good block from Pepper. Weaves by the safety. There goes Lord. A huge run near the 30. It's a gain of 31, his longest run of the entire season. Lord was a big play machine as a freshman. Hasn't been the case this year, but a lot more consistent and definitely better than his rough sophomore season. There is Parrish into the red zone. He gets it to the 14. It seems like one of these two offenses is starting to get a little bit of a rhythm, and that's us. Up the middle, Rajon Jones is not in, but he's close. Gets it to the 1. 1st and goal, nearing the 2-minute warning. It's Ty Lord. Powers his way in for a touchdown. For the first time today, somebody's in the end zone. It took us to the 2-minute timeout in the first half, but it's Ty Lord in for the score, not Teamer. He's unable to break the rushing touchdown record quite yet, but Ty Lord is in to make it 10-0. Even though it's been a pretty bad game overall for the offense, at least they're getting a little something at the end of the first half, because I cannot say the same at all for Arkansas. 2nd and 9. Page looks to throw it under pressure. It is caught. Not going to get him much. Viliami Manupuna with the tackle, and he is hurt. Not one of the guys we can afford to be without. Even though he's not a starter, he's one of the most impactful players on our team. 3rd and 7. Page steps up, scrambles, nearly intercepted. Marcus Ashe had a chance, but he could not come down with it. Strained tricep for Manupuna. He will not return. Hopefully not an injury that would linger into the playoff, assuming we get in. As that one is caught by Dorian Pepper. Outruns Bridges. If only he didn't lose his footing out of bounds. But still a good gain for the veteran Dorian Pepper, as Kansas appears to be moving it pretty well again. Teamer to the left side. Can't go away from the run despite it being late in the first half, as he's able to get the first down. Keep in mind we only have 2 timeouts because we called it on the defensive 4th down stop. That ended up being a good decision. But remember the game earlier in the year against, I think, Houston, where we forgot we were out of timeouts, so we've got to be smart with that. Here's Chosen on the run. He's got Jones. Kerry Chosen finally looks calm, confident, and composed. We haven't really seen that from him in the first Arkansas matchup or at all today. He's getting Jones more involved. He's getting Parrish more involved. Is it 2nd down with 30 seconds? Chosen looks to tuck it and run, and he is going to get something. It's around 5. We're not going to call the last timeout. We're going to go no huddle. Try to hold on to that as long as we can. 3rd and 5. Tick, 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 tick. 15 seconds left. It's a run. Teamer bounces off the blocker, and he's in! That's a record! 18 rushing touchdowns breaks Devin Neal's total. A Heisman moment for Cornell Teamer as he gets to strike the pose in the end zone. We've been waiting for the time all year for Cornell Teamer to go for the Heisman pose, and there it is. He breaks the single-season school rushing touchdown record set back in Season 1 by the great Devin Neal. 17-0. Going into the half, it's been quite the start. Neither team was able to score in the first quarter. But the difference is that our offense was able to adjust. We couldn't move the ball at all early, but we leaned more into our best player. 11 carries, 85 yards, and a school record 18th rushing touchdown for Cornell Teamer. Ty Lord's been good too, and while Kerry Chosen has not looked his best, 11 of 21 for 152, I thought he had his best drive of the game on that previous possession. Arkansas started with 2 drives inside the 5, but they ended up with 0 points. Since then, their offense has been an unmitigated disaster with a fumble and 3 punts. Malik Page has been nowhere near as effective as he was last week. 9 of 13, 97 yards as he is sacked by the freshman Cornell Abreu. Another successful blitz. Abreu hits that one out of the park here at AT&T Stadium, home of the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe we've got some future Cowboys on this field. 3rd and 12. It's a screen. Tyler Wiley does not get much. That was a pivotal drive to start the 3rd quarter for Arkansas. They needed to take advantage of starting with the ball, and they do not. It's yet another 3 and out. The defense has allowed 7 points in our last 6 quarters and 0 points in our last 4. On the run, here's Pepper with a first down and a spin. Pepper's certainly going to play less once we get Amani Law back, but I think he's done pretty well, as has Hakeem Ficken in place. Here is Lord with a stiff arm on 3rd down, cuts to the right. What a run for Ty Lord. I didn't think he was going to get it. Instead, he turns it into 17 yards. Lord might be having his best game of the year. He has been terrific this afternoon. Here is Teamer up the middle. He's going to get about 5, and Teamer is hurt on the play. Not good. It's a minor foot injury. It's not anything we really have to worry about, but we're going to have to be smart with his usage the rest of the way. On 2nd down, this one is hauled in by Diggs inside the 10, and now it's 1st and goal. Rasheem Diggs hauls it in. Kansas looking to add to the lead. Lord likely to get the RB1 reps for a while, as that one is caught in the end zone for a touchdown by Rajon Jones. He has been a touchdown machine in recent weeks as it is 24-0. This offense has caught fire. Arkansas trying to get something going as Page throws the defender off of him. Where has this been all day? Arkansas's gotten nothing out of him as a runner. On third down, Page floats it up, deep down the field. It is caught! Tyler Wiley to the 3. Jalen Todd normally has great ball skills, but he didn't turn around quick enough. Todd's the elder statesman of the team. He's been one of the few guys on defense who hasn't played well. Page on the option loses 4. Greg Van Olhoffen brings him down. 2nd and goal for Arkansas, under 3 to go in the third. It's Avery. Gets by the defender, and he is in for a touchdown. Finally, Arkansas is on the board. Craig Avery with the touchdown. And now they're going to go for 2. Try to make it a 16-point deficit. With a receiver in motion, Page keeps it himself, and he does not get it. Kerry Falk brings him down, and it remains a 3-score deficit, 24-6. If nothing else, though, Arkansas finally is on the board. Just over 2 to go in the third. It's a third down screen. Rajon Jones up the middle with a solid gain of around 8. Not going to be enough for the first down, though. Kansas will have to punt it away after 3 consecutive touchdown scoring drives. Hogs get it back, 2nd and 9. Here is Page with all day. His pass is hauled in. That's Connor Durbin. Quickly wrapped up by Quantavius Landers. Under a minute to go in the third. Arkansas, for the first time all day, has some offensive momentum. Page, play action up the middle. Nice throw and catch for Tyler Wiley. He's been their best receiver today as he gets it back in the red zone. Arkansas scored the last trip, but is only 1 for 3 overall. Play action. Page scrambles with it, has room to run, and he is inside the 5. That'll wrap up the third. It was 17-0 going into the half. Now it's an 18-point lead. So Arkansas has not made a comeback run yet, but they had the ball inside the 5, and a touchdown here could make it a game. This one is not over. Our defense has been good in the red zone today. They've been good in the red zone all year. Another stop would put us in a really good spot. 1st and goal. Superman diving into the end zone. It's Emmett Powell, and Arkansas makes it a 2-score game. I thought they would go for 2. They decided not to. They kicked the extra point, making it 24-13. Now that Arkansas has had a couple straight touchdown drives in a row, their offense might be getting the swing of things. This one is far from over. We've got to keep playing well on this side of the ball. Ty Lord to the outside. Good start to the possession. He gets it near the 30. Cornell Teamer has not played since he hurt his foot. We're looking at the big picture. We're chasing the national title. We need him on the field. The RPO incomplete on 3rd down. Did not mean to go no huddle at all. So let the clock go. I took the delay of game, and we punted the ball because that would be stupid to go for it. You know, Arkansas can make it a 1-score game on this drive. Up the middle, Sheldon Brink with it. Hit hard by Brandon Hines, but not before getting the first down. Brink, the former Jayhawk, has been quiet in this one. On 2nd down, Page looking. What a catch! Benson Bromero to the 40, the talented sophomore tight end. Avery up the middle on 1st down, has room, gets the first. Where was this Arkansas offense in the first half? They are alive and rejuvenated. Play action, Page goes short. Connor Durbin, another 1st down. These guys are moving like it's nothing. These guys couldn't do this at all in the second quarter. I don't even think they got a 1st down in the second. Avery bounces off a blocker, nearly gets the 1st down. Good tackle by Alpha G, and that makes it a pivotal 3rd and 1. With just over 5 minutes to go in the 4th. Page looks to throw it, scrambles on the run, it is caught! Sheldon Brink absorbs the hit, in for a touchdown. It's a 1-score game. Brink with the Heisman pose. Is he mocking Cornell Teamer? I mean, I guess they never were technically on the same team because Brink was only here for a year. But Teamer committed when Brink was on the roster. They probably know each other at least a little bit. That was an impressive catch, though. I'll give him his flowers. He took a big hit. But why was he mocking our guy? 2-point try. They will fake the pitch for Brink. Page breaks a tackle. He's in. 24-21. Arkansas has cut the lead within 3. They've got all the momentum. But I think the goal on this drive is simple. Do not let them get the ball back. Teamer with a first down. That's a good start. That's his first touch and his first snap since he got injured around 10 minutes ago. We're still going to see a lot of Ty Lord as he gets it up the middle for a short gain of around 4. The goal here is simple. Let your best player, or I guess best players in the case of Lord, end the game. Lord with a first down. We are fully in true clock mode. We really do not want Arkansas to get the ball, given how well they've played on offense as of recent. Here's a good run. It's a gain of 12 for Nicholas Scotland-Williamson. Even he is getting in on the fun. Everybody getting the rock out of the backfield is on first down. It's an RPO. Parrish does not get much, maybe a yard, and that'll bring us to the 2-minute timeout. We've done a good job so far of chewing clock on this drive. Now Arkansas is going to start using the timeouts. Teamer on second down, up the middle, fighting for yardage. He's close. Really good run for Teamer. He's been very physical today. I imagine NFL scouts are liking what they're seeing. 3rd and inches. It's a handoff for the big fella, Nicholas Scotland-Williamson. He gets it. Timeout number 2 for Arkansas, and we are a first down away from ending this game. They might not get the ball back despite scoring with 5 minutes left. On first down, Teamer up the middle. Solid gain of around 5. And the Hogs use their 3rd and final timeout. All we need to do is get by that yellow line, and we are officially going to the playoff. Teamer to the outside, gets a block, gets the first, looks to dive down, and this game is over. The Kansas Jayhawks avenge the Season 1 loss. They have won the Big 12 and will get a first-round bye in the college football playoff as Kerry Chosen will take the final kneel down. 24-21, we get over our kryptonite. Arkansas's beaten us 2 years in a row, the only team to have beaten us this season, but we get revenge. We win the game that matters the most, and it was because of this guy, number 23, Cornell Teamer, our Heisman, the player of the game with 140 more rushing yards and a school record 18th rushing touchdown of the year. Kansas will not have to play in the first round. I think that can be a huge advantage for us because it makes things a lot easier in terms of a potential title run. It gives us one less opponent we have to worry about. It gives us an extra week off. I think that'll help Cornell Teamer, who's been a little banged up. It'll help Viliami Manupuna, who left the game early. And it'll certainly help Amani Law, who we are definitely going to need for this playoff run. Arkansas gave us a run, though. It was basically 24-0 at the end of the third quarter, and they only lost by 3. Their offense was abysmal for most of the game, but they caught fire, scoring a touchdown on each of their last 3 drives. We knew we could not let them get the ball back for one more chance, and luckily, they didn't. Kerry Chosen was not great. He's going to have to play better in big games. I do believe that he can, however. We won this game, though, because of the rushing attack. Cornell Teamer is such a stud. I have run out of words to describe his season other than I am going to miss him when he goes to the NFL. Ty Lord might be joining him at this point. I was really banking on Lord being the RB1 next year, but shoot, he might be a top 100 pick, at least at this point. Through the air, Elijah Parrish and Rajon Jones each had some drops. They each had some big plays as well. I'm excited to get Amani Law back to let those guys be more the complementary roles that I think they were set to be. Offensive line was great. 15 pancakes for Roche, 9 for Chanel. Both of those guys are going to the NFL, I think, after this year. And then defensively, Monu Okeji. He's going to be a pro after this year. That's the common theme with a lot of these underclassmen. 11 tackles, 2 for a loss, and the big strip sack. Abreu had the other. That was her only turnover, but a very timely one. And then Anthony Escalante did not miss. As for Arkansas, I thought Malik Page overall was pretty good, especially down the stretch. Very efficient. Again, did not go perfect, but he only threw 5 incompletions. They didn't utilize him enough as a runner. He was so good on third downs as a scrambler against us the first time. 113 for Wiley, 61 for Bromero, 60 for Durbin. The big touchdown late by Brink. I thought their offensive line was pretty solid, and their defense honestly was good too. Both defense, 19 tackles for Kaufman, holy hell. I think both defenses overall played quite well, but they had bad cold streaks. Arkansas was great early in the game. They were great late in the game, but they could not get a stop in the middle. we were dominant for the first nearly 3 quarters, and then we could not stop a fly. So hopefully the defensive consistency is not an issue when we're only going to be playing against great teams, such as Arkansas. But it's nice to know that we are going to the playoff and getting a first-round bye. One more week of recruiting here for the regular season. Our class is obviously shaped out to be pretty good. We now have 8 5-stars, including most recently the 5-star quarterback Cole Tam. Going through some of these submissions in the NCAA, or I guess the College Football 26 Dynasty vote, one of the suggestions was that I add recruiting restrictions next year, which I definitely agree. I didn't want to this year because I wanted to see how recruiting would go. Now it's very obviously too easy. So we're obviously going to be adding some recruiting restrictions next year. I haven't figured out what those are yet, largely because I haven't figured out, obviously, what I'm doing for the series or what team I'm going to pick. We only have 8 uncommitted players left on the board. We're going to offer them the maximum amount of points. Jermaine Abukum, I think, commits this week. Brian Jefferson does as well. It's close between us and TCU. And then CJ Short, I think, will get. Him and Abukum are locks. Jefferson, I think, is like 70-30 to come to TCU versus us. I don't love our chances, but who knows? Maybe we get lucky. So we do end up landing Jermaine Abukum. Another wide receiver joins the 2 5-stars in this class, Orson Boykins and Evan Apple. We do lose out on Jefferson. TCU finally beats us in something. We've dominated them in head-to-head matchups this series, 4-0. We've dominated them in recruiting, but they finally get a win. We're in first place for these guys who are down to 3. The closest race is definitely Jonathan Kute, the quarterback, who's down to us in Kansas State. Monu Okeji wins the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week, while Cornell Teamer wins the Offensive Player of the Week. Very well deserved. No complaints with either of those. Let's take a look at what happened in the other conference championship games to potentially paint the picture of our playoff. Michigan beats the Spartans for a second time, 13-0, number 1 seed. Kane Kunashik is as good as any running back in the country, not named Cornell Teamer, and CJ Carr at quarterback's playing some great ball. Kentucky defeats North Carolina. They are number 3. We are number 2. So it looks like we're going to end up with the 2 seed. Kentucky will be 3. 4 scores for Cliff Peppers. We saw how dangerous this team was after their 73-7 win against Florida. Stanford loses to SMU. You want chaos? Here you go. So, barring something crazy, I don't think we're going to have an ACC team in the playoff. Sean Pollard playing spoiler. I think there is an avenue for SMU to get in, but they need a lot. Rough performance for the 94 overall Elijah Brown, who was really bad in this one for Stanford. Southern Miss loses to Marshall. We are getting maximum chaos. Stanford and Southern Miss were plugged into the final 2 conference championship spots. Now they're out. So the Golden Eagles will not go to the playoff. Western Kentucky defeats Louisiana Tech. So presumably the Hilltoppers, who were not slated to get a playoff spot, will be the number 4 seed. As for the 5 seed, could it be Miami of Ohio? Nope. They lose to Toledo. Okay, SMU actually has a chance of making this work. I think there's only one more hurdle for them to clear. 401 yards for Colin Provo, the transfer from Missouri. Your number 5 seed will be San Jose State, not SMU. The Mustangs needed them to lose. That would have been the perfect scenario, but it does not happen. Brian Folsom with 4 touchdowns, outplaying Devin Batiste. So it looks like the Spartans will be the final team in the playoff. As for the other 2 games, BYU beats Washington State, and UAB puts up 52 on Army. Craig Clinton and Mark Boyles win the overall players of the week. And obviously in the Big 12, it's both of our guys, Monu Okeji, the captain of the defense, and Cornell Teamer, the captain of the offense. We're going to simulate another week as CJ Short commits. That's good news. We do lose out on Jonathan Kute. He's going to Kansas State. We just got shoved into a locker by our biggest rival. That's crazy. That's going to be quite the quarterback rivalry with him and Cole Tam, given that they grew up 5 minutes away from each other in Aurora, Colorado. And Kute, remember, was Kerry Chosen's high school backup when Kute was a freshman in high school and Chosen was a senior. The Heisman Trophy winner is Boise State quarterback Landon Duck. This is weird because during the conference championship week, I saw that Hoss Haney had the lead. So that doesn't make sense how he would have lost right at the end. I think Haney got snubbed, but he comes in second for a second year in a row. Roddy Orr takes home the best defensive player. I would argue he was not our most consistent defensive player, but he certainly put up the counting stats, 15 TFLs and 11 sacks What a get for us out of the transfer portal a couple years ago. See, kids, this is why the portal is important, where you can get guys like Roddy Orr, who also takes home the best defensive end. How about the number one player in the portal this year, Javier Callaway, best defensive back? We've gotten some great transfers in this series, even dating back earlier. Guys like Joseph Manjack, Moody Rubin, Javon McIntyre, who started in the Super Bowl for the Broncos and then got benched the following year, but that's besides the point. Let's look at our playoff bracket. Here it is. Kansas is the 2 seed, and look at our quadrant. We will play the winner of Michigan State and Arkansas. We cannot escape these guys, can we? If we make it out of that game, we'll be looking at Kentucky, Oregon, or Notre Dame in the Final Four. I do not think this is a very favorable draw. I will say, excluding us, I think Michigan and TCU are the 2 best teams in the field. We would not have to see either of them until the title. I think both of them are going to walk into the Final Four. But I think other than them, the next 6 best teams are all in our little group. Michigan State's really good. We know how good Arkansas is. Kentucky scored 73 this year. Oregon's made the playoff every year. And Notre Dame is 2 years removed from a national title. This is where the coaching carousel opens. For those of you who missed the video where I talk about College Football 26 Dynasty, one of the things I mentioned was that the coaching carousel is a lot cooler than it was this year. I don't plan on jumping to a different job. It's also National Signing Day, though. Nobody flipped. Nobody flipped to us or away from us. No surprises, but we do get to see the development traits for the players who have committed, and there are some interesting ones. Lost out on a really good tight end, Garrett Van Denmark, who is star. Tyrone Lewis only is normal, though, so that certainly does not make it as sad that we lost out to him with Missouri. As for us, Cole Tan, the 5-star quarterback, has star. That's big. I mean, this guy could easily be the future after Kerry Chosen. Joel Loper only is normal, little disappointed. Impact for Boykins, impact for Ivy, star for Emmett Nix. That's a big one. Elite for Mike Keaton. This guy's going to be so good. 6'4", 97 speed. Oh my God, I cannot wait for him. Impact for Devon Mays. Elite for Jimmy Pena, the 4th-ranked player in the country. He's going to start as a true freshman, and he's going to be gone in 3 years. He's going to be awesome. Tua Sagapolu also has elite, the number 1 player in the country. I've described him as the defensive version of Jeremiah Smith. I think he will be that good for us right off the bat. He will play a huge role for us next year. It's just a matter of where. And then in 3 years, I think he will be good as gone as well, likely contending to be the number 1 pick. So in the next episode, we'll find out who we're going to play against. I'm not going to have a separate episode for the first-round matchups, just so we can get through the end pretty quickly. We're going to recap the first-round games quickly in the next episode, and then we will watch the 4 second-round games, including our own. So just because we have the first-round bye does not mean there will not be a game in the next episode. We are playing, but against who? Will it be Arkansas again, or will it be Michigan State? Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.